Hi, this is perhaps the ugliest framing known to man, but it'll have to do. All these beliefs we hold, I feel like they matter, they don't really matter. Whether you believe if there's an afterlife, whether you believe you came from somewhere, they do kind of matter, but not really. I think what really matters is this moment and your relationship with this moment. What do I mean by that? Your relationship with the reality of what is happening right now. I feel like that is the only thing that matters, because you don't really know what is going to happen. You don't really know about your future because it is completely uncertain. Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen. You can analyze and come to a certain conclusion that this or that might happen, but that's merely something you make up in your head. It's not really real. What you experienced in the past was also a perception. It was through the lens of you, and it has gone now, and you can't relive it no matter how much you try. It's only a memory, it's gone. You can also only revisit it in your mind through an illusion almost. So the past is an illusion, the future is an illusion. The only real thing is what you're feeling right now. No two people experience reality the same way. Certain things which might happen to you, you might process them in a very different way. And the outside matrix of what is happening really doesn't even matter. What matters is what mirrors inside. And what's happening outside and inside, fundamentally there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We have to completely allow it to play and happen. So that relationship we have with this present moment is the most important thing. It's not the beliefs that you hold. If the beliefs that you hold will give rise to a better relationship with this moment, then that's great. But essentially, I don't think you have to believe anything. Don't believe anything, just experience the now. And this is more difficult than it is not, because the now is filled with so much different emotions. Sometimes you feel really tired, sometimes you feel really down, sometimes you feel delighted, sometimes you feel in love, sometimes you feel grateful, sometimes you feel disappointed. And there is a whole spectrum of life which is coming through you. And in the past, when I identified strongly as a person who is on this path to Nibbana, there was a lot of, I think, judgment towards whatever would come through, towards my behavior, towards how towards my ego, I think, or what I perceive to be my ego. But now I think a lot has changed in that dimension where I don't judge at all, especially myself. Rather, I give myself the space and understanding, the gratefulness, and also I take my side, man. Like, if I'm not going to take my side, who's going to take my side? Like, I see when I'm hurt, when I'm angry, where that is coming from. I show up for him, I get angry with him. And when I'm joyous and happy, I'm grateful and I'm happy for myself for feeling these things. I try to be there in whatever capacity I can for the ones I love. And I try to accept with grace this moment which has been presented to me. Because it truly is grace. You don't really control any of what is coming through. What you can do is submit and allow and let it take you, let it teach you. There are times where you have to stand your ground, and at those times I show up for myself. There are times where I have to let the universe, let God, or let the Dharmatave, whatever you want to call it, this Tao, to teach me, and I let it take me. There are moments where I am confused and I give space to that confusion. Giving space and allowing is a big part of this journey. Because if we are in resistance to what is, if we are in resistance to what is happening in life, that is where most of the suffering comes from. It's always happening for a reason, and you may not see that, and it may be beyond your comprehension. And that's why they say you can't comprehend the divine plan, God's plan. And most of the time it is true. And how many of us can predict our future? Zero, nada, right? Like, no one can predict their future. We do not know how it's going to pan out. And if you look back into your life and see how things have panned out, it's almost fucking crazy, because you can't predict that shit. That shit's unpredictable to each and every living being out there. It's unpredictable. The economy is unpredictable, the weather is unpredictable, the whole thing is unpredictable. And we can, for our sake, up to a certain extent, try to predict and analyze and understand what's going on. But why? If it's beyond your control, if it's unpredictable, why not just fucking enjoy it and let it happen? I think that's what is needed. I think that's the most important thing. But we must have a certain amount of faith in the unknown, and the unknown is essentially God. The chaos is essentially God. The desire which is coming through you is basically life. And prana, So say I have a craving to maybe some biscuits or something like that. So that we in Buddhism call as craving or tanha. And in the practice of what I did earlier, like 3-4 years ago, what we would do is we would contemplate on the form which we were attached to or which we were craving for. For example, say it's a biscuit, and I would be like, this biscuit, anicca dukkha anatta, and go into it and break down the biscuit, break down the feelings that it brings to me. Sure, that's all correct. But in my practice, what I found that no matter how much I broke that particular thing down, there still would be that desire to go for that biscuit. So let's take a step back. I think what's needed to be done is give space to that desire, give space to that chaos which is within you, which wants to get something. Sexual energy is also like this, like you really want to go and get it. And sometimes you might not be in a space to give yourself space to allow, to hold it, to be a container to it. Sometimes you might go and acquire that form, and we need that kind of release. But I think the game of this is letting it build and not judging it, and not judging yourself as you give yourself into it also from time to time. That's okay, we are not perfect. And if you really hold, that's also again going to another extreme, no? So there's nothing really wrong in giving into it. There's nothing really wrong in what you call submitting and giving into your desire. But when you can, try to hold space to it. Because the truth of the matter is there's no form out there which can make you happy. I was reading this Atomic Atomic Habits book by James Clear, and in one chapter it says that when you get something that you think, when you, for example, you taste something good, that releases a dopamine spike, and the next time the dopamine spike is released is not when you get that particular thing, but you have the thought of getting that particular thing, and you have the desire of getting that particular thing. That releases the dopamine spike. When you get the real thing, there's no dopamine spike. So this energy of joy, this energy of want is, I think, sacred. And I think we've been judging it for so long. But this is essentially life which is coming through. I saw another quote saying that sexual energy is life force energy, and that's true. So what you must do is, you have free will. Try not to give in to this chaos which is coming through, because chaos is too much for us to handle most of the time. What we have to do is we release. It's too much. Either we go for the biscuit, we go for the we go for the girl, we go for the porn, we go for whatever is going to give us that particular joy, because it's built up and now we need it. A different approach is hold space to that. Like, don't even judge it, don't even wish that it wasn't there. Like, see that it's there and hold space to it. Be a container to it and see where it evolves to. More often than not, that energy, I think we can direct it to what is needed that way, rather than become a victim of our biology. Yeah. So that's where free will comes in. But also, that's not to say that you are supposed to hold space for everything and you're gonna be so uptight about it. Nah, fucking go for it. Do it. I mean, smoke up from time to time, have sex, watch porn, do whatever, man. Like, there is no real, there's no real discipline or real timetable. I mean, you can set it up, but it's completely up to you. I mean, I give in to my desires time to time, and it's pretty kick at pretty pretty dopamine at. But sometimes I try to hold space, and holding space is almost a sacred practice to me. To love is to love. To love each and every part of yourself, especially the parts of yourself which you don't like, especially the chaos, the suffering, the craving, the tiredness, the fogginess which is coming through. Can you allow that to take place? Can you be a container? Can you love yourself through that as well? That's where the real test of love comes, because that is unknown, because that is chaos. And when that is happening, you want to grasp to pleasure, you want to grasp to something but can you let go and let God and go into the unknown, to the darkness, to shiver? Can you open your heart and allow? Can you have faith in Shiva, in God, in Jesus, in all these, in the universe? Can you not be so fucking bleak about it? Do not fear and dive into the deep end, dive into the darkness. Allow yourself to sink fully. This is easy to fucking say, and when I'm saying it, it feels like, oh, Sita must be doing it all the time. Or someone might be saying, oh, this is full of shit. Either way, I mean, I try to. It's not that I have like mastered it as well. I mean, it's my path. It's what makes the most amount of sense to me. Giving into the unknown, surrendering. It's difficult. It's difficult because all of your fears and all of this will come through. And then someone will come and be like, yeah, but at the end of it, what happens? At the end of it, do you get nibbana? Do you get enlightenment? Do you get... Maybe not. Can you be okay with that? Can you surrender to the fact that there might be absolutely no solution, that there might be no out of this whole thing, that life is infinite and it might happen, and can you fully accept that and allow it? Maybe it's not, maybe it is, but either way, can you allow it? So I think there is a lot of courage which is needed. Courage to open your heart in hell. Yeah. Peace out.